The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.
Welcome everybody to the Habits of Health webinar and podcast. I'm Amber Smithson and I've got my co-host here,
Jared Smithson,
my husband, and we are OPTAVIA certified OPTAVIA coaches, and we are actually coming up on our 10-year anniversary as OPTAVIA coaches this coming week. So we're really excited to be hosting tonight. And if you are joining us live, then welcome to the fun. If you are watching the playback, or maybe you don't even know there is playbacks of these, you can find our playbacks on the OPTAVIA YouTube channel and also the OPTAVIA Habits of Health podcast. So make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever podcast app that you use. Now, there's a lot of different people who join us on the OPTAVIA Habits of Health, and that's anywhere from a certified OPTAVIA coach to health professionals to maybe one of our OPTAVIA clients to maybe you are potential and you are just looking into what this is all about and want to learn more about our amazing program. And whoever you are, we want to welcome you tonight. We're glad that you've joined us. We're glad that you're taking a little bit of time out of your day and your life to really invest in your health, whether that's your healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances, whatever that is. We just want to congratulate you for taking some time today. So let's get to it. Tonight, we have a fun topic that we are sharing with you, and that is lead from the future. And this is a topic that we were introduced to just several years back by Helen Irwin, and it's really a principle that you can apply to a lot of different areas of your life. So since it's our 10-year anniversary as certified OPTAVIA coaches, we thought we would kind of go back in our time machine here and give you some pictures of 10 years ago.
Scary.
So, and if you're joining us via podcast, you just might have to log on to the OPTAVIA YouTube channel to see what we're seeing. But there's some pictures of Jared and myself, and then also our 3 children. They're so tiny in this picture. And it really represents to me kind of a full circle journey of where we came from.
Yeah, both of our boys are bigger than me now. So this seems like a lot longer ago than it actually is. 10 years ago, I shared this with a lot of coaches that we work with personally the other day. I had a serious, a terminal disease. It's called dis-ease. My life was not easy, and I did not know how to deal. I didn't have the skills to deal with the challenges that we were facing in life. But really the disease that I had was unconscious irresponsibility. I didn't even know that I was being irresponsible. But I lived my life finding who to blame for everything in my life, not recognizing that my circumstances, the choices that I had made throughout my entire life had led me to the circumstances that we were in.
And at that time, it was really hard to dream. We found ourselves that our physical bodies weren't in the top health that they could be in. Our mental state was certainly not in the tip-top shape that it could be in. And our finances as well, we were struggling financially. And when we were introduced to OPTAVIA, I remember that one of the first times that we attended an event and was listening to a presentation, I remember specifically that the OPTAVIA coach who was presenting wanted us to start dreaming. and how foreign that was for me personally, because sometimes when you're just down in the dumps, when you are just everything in your life is not going your way, it's hard to just say, oh, well, just start dreaming.
Well, and when we were doing that, Amber she probably remembers this. I was like, this is stupid, right? But I came across years and years ago, it was probably shortly thereafter, because as we were talking about what we wanted to create in our lives, this idea of vision came up. And who better to talk about vision than Helen Keller? Helen Keller said that the only thing worse than being blind is having sight with no vision. Recently, I was listening to a worldwide speaker talk about vision, and he said that vision is that what we've created in our head, like it's a mental vision of our future reality that we are fully committed to bringing into existence. I love that, because looking back 10 years, I had no vision. I could not even imagine a future reality, especially one that I was going to bring into existence.
Absolutely. And so I love this principle of lead from the future, act in the now. And there was a quote that I heard last week. I think it was Helen Irwin as well. And she said, never take advice from your current self. And I thought that was just about the best thing I've heard in a really long time. Because if you are not completely ecstatic about where you are in your life right now, why would you take advice from your current self? And so we're going to give you some exercises in just a little bit of how to take advice from your future self. But I want to fast forward to today so that you can see, there's our kidlets. They're all grown up now. I'm not the shortest one in our family. I still have a shorter daughter.
12-year-old that will pass her up next year.
Guaranteed. It makes good for volleyball though. And really, I think now where our lives are, where OPTAVIA has helped us to really optimize our health, to be in that place with our healthy bodies, to be exercising, to be eating right, to be sleeping, to be lowering our stress, and all these different macro habits that we are taught with the habits of health, and how it's made such a huge difference for us. And in our healthy minds, really plugging into the community, to our leaders, to plugging into our own personal coach. Those 4 components of our program have been completely life-changing for us. And not just, we haven't even mentioned our weight loss.
Well, weight loss is just a byproduct. OPTAVIA, what we realized really, really quickly was OPTAVIA wasn't just a weight loss company. It was a personal development company. It was a company that taught us how to dream, how to tap into all of the different areas and learn how to be conscious in our own lives so that we can create first of all, so we can start to dream, and then we can actually create those things in a predictable way.
So I want to ask you a question, and just ask this to yourself. Am I basing my future goals on my current skills? Because so many times, when we're starting a journey, whether it is with our healthy bodies or healthy minds or healthy finances, we think, oh, well, what's my goal going to be? And we base that on where we're at right now, the things that we know right now. And like Helen said, never take advice from your current self. Always take advice from your future self. And I want Jared to just spend a little bit of time talking to us about flow.
So this is flow is a business theory or idea. But really, a lot of people, what I've seen in 10 years of coaching people, this middle section that's referred to as flow, the diagonal going from left to right, upward, you could also look at this as balance, life balance. Because some people talk about balance like, oh, you got to have equal time and all these other things. But that's not the reality of life. Sometimes you're going to have to work extra hours. Sometimes you're going to be really focused on something. But so you've got on one axis, you've got skills. On the other axis, you've got challenges. If your skills are really low and your challenges are really high, that's going to lead to anxiety, stress, frustration, even worse sometimes, things like depression, severe sadness, paralysis of being able to do anything. But when your skills are really high and your challenges are really low, that leads to boredom, to dissatisfaction in life, unfulfillment, right? So the goal is to raise our skills and have approximately equal challenges so that we feel like we're in balance. I know some people who have incredibly high challenges, but they also have incredibly high skills. And I look at those people and I admire them because I want some of the skills that they possess so that I can attack even higher challenges and achieve more in my life.
And so if you find yourself at any point on your journey of growth that you are in that overwhelm, anxiety, just too much going on, that is your cue. It's time to raise my skills. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. And this is what I love about OPTAVIA is that we offer so many different opportunities to raise your skills, whether that is plugging in to the podcast or webinars live, talking to your coach, becoming a coach, and really taking your health to that next level so that you can learn those things and start paying it forward, because we all know that when you are the teacher, who learns more, the teacher or the student? It's the teacher every single time.
Yeah, and one just real brief example of this is if you're on your health journey, like you're losing weight and you're in that process and you get stressed out or you're bored or you're lonely or you're angry or whatever the emotions are that trigger you to tap into some of those old habits. Hey, I'm going to the pantry. I'm going to the fridge. I'm going through the drive-through, whatever. One of those skills that Dr. Anderson offers and that we offer as coaches is stop, challenge, and choose. So if you're not totally familiar with what stop, challenge, and choose is, reach out to your coach and ask them to help you increase and improve that skill so that you can create what you really want, the health that you really want, rather than falling into emotions and structuring your life based on emotions rather than the structure of creating what you want.
I love that. Stop, challenge, choose is such an important skill to develop with our journeys. And I want to talk a little bit about settings, because also the next thing that tends to happen when we are thinking of a goal, we're thinking of our future self, is we start having these identity type statements about ourselves. So anytime that you start hearing yourself saying, I am blank, like I am a procrastinator.
I am a foodie.
That's a big one. I am, even if it's I am not ever going to figure this out. Just really making those statements that lead to your statements about your identity. That's where you really want to pay attention, because it's not you, how you are right now. Yeah, that's your current reality, how you are right now. But it's not you, it's a setting. That is a setting. That is a neural pathway in your brain on how things are set right now. That doesn't mean it always has to be that way.
Not at all. What do you do when you're on a road trip and you're driving in between states and stuff, and the radio stations are not the same? You come up to a section where, well, now people just Bluetooth their phone, they play their playlist, right? But in the old days, I'm old, I'm in my mid-40s, so you would hit static and you would scan the channels and you'd change the setting so that you could continue to listen to music. So the same thing happens in our brains and in our lives that we can tap in. And this is where coaching comes in so powerfully, when you can share what's going on with you and someone who is unattached to the situation, a third party, can look in and say, well, what if we tried this? What if we put a few things into place and here's a couple of new settings?
I love that. But always remembering it's not you at the core. And when we can change those words, it's very powerful. It's like if you're changing it from I am a smoker. I'm not, by the way, I don't smoke. But if that's your thing, you want to quit smoking, you say, I want to quit smoking. And you're saying, well, I've always been a smoker. My parents were smokers. My grandparents smoked. Instead, you're saying, right now, my current habit is smoking, but I'm ready to be a non-smoker. It's so powerful. And then you're coming from that place, that future self that we're going to do an exercise in a little bit. That is so much more powerful than just white knuckling it, trying to change something, versus really coming from a place of intrinsic motivation, from deep desire that comes from commitment to a new identity. And Diane in the chat says you're not old, Jared.
I know.
What are we, like a couple weeks from putting you in the home?
Yeah, my kids say I'm old because I still listen to the radio, right? And then I go play volleyball against them and they're like, oh yeah, you're not old.
So we wanted to bring on somebody very special. This is one of our personal clients, Tressa, to share her story with us on switching her settings a little bit. Tressa, are you there?
Yes.
Go for it, girl.
All right. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about working on mindset and changing your settings. So my where I started was last year. Was really lucky to stumble upon my fabulous health coach, Amber, and she said, do this and trust me and follow the program and it'll work. And I was so beyond, had no hope, had no optimism in my life whatsoever, never made plans, never tried anything that could be hard. And I just wanted to lose weight, and that's what happened. But I quickly realized that your mindset has to change, and it will change. So whether you're aware of that, like ready for that to happen soon or not, it kind of goes hand in hand with healthy body, healthy mind. So last year I was over 200 pounds, living my life, not really living it, living my life in my bed. My kids had to come to me. Nothing was getting done in the house. No hope, no joy. And I'd thrown in the towel. I just figured that this is all that's out there. So stumbled upon this program and started losing weight and started realizing like my brain needs to change too. And it wasn't too hard, but it takes time. It takes baby steps. So some of the things that I worked on with Amber were the way that you talk to yourself. So when you're saying, oh, I can't have that, or I can't do this, I can't, it's really powerful. And I looked at rewording it and saying like, okay, I'm choosing this instead, or I want this, and just not being like the victim. So with mindset, the way that we speak to ourselves, like I have the opportunity to do this. I have the opportunity to, I'm choosing to eat this, right now. Things that would like support my goals, and the way that you talk to yourself is key, because we listen, but we shouldn't. So you're not your thoughts. Just because it's a thought doesn't mean you need to do it. The stop, challenge, choose is important. So I try to remind myself, because I still have moments in my days where I'm like, okay, I think I need this little sweet treat, something from my past, something that used to bring me joy. Those old habits creep back into where, the things you say to yourself are not helpful, or the old habits that you have that are not helpful. And I have to remind myself like, oh yeah, that's not really the way it is, and it doesn't have to be that way anymore. So when I started the program, my mindset was it's okay to be in my bed all day. And my mindset was programmed to say it's okay to be tired. And then I still catch myself, like I said, here and there, not so much anymore, but I still catch myself here and there where I'm like, actually, I can do that. And really is a new way of thinking. And when you are thinking positively and you're telling yourself things that are doable, that are getting you closer to your goals, the ride is just that much easier. So I didn't come this far to only come this far. There's some things that that I, in fact, was having to remind myself of today. And if I'm not perfect, I think I'm a failure, but that's not true. I am not, I can now make plans. I am try to be receptive. So here's a couple of things you can do when you're working on your mindset is talk to your coach or become a coach. Plug into the 4 components of our program. So you really want to work on getting little tidbits of education here and there, like keeping things fresh in your mind. So mindset, connecting with some people in the community. Are you eating your food? Like all these, the 4 things about our program really do like help kind of keep those things going. So thanks for your time. If I can do it, you can do it. You can totally do it. The program's easy. Become a coach and you'll be even more successful, and challenge yourself. The difference between winning and losing most often, it's the difference between winning and losing most often is not quitting. So I'm not going to be a quitter. I'm working on my mindset. Amber helps me all the time.
I love that, Tressa. And I don't think you said how much weight you lost. Was it 70 pounds?
Yeah, I lost 70 pounds last year. And
that's pretty awesome.
Keep going. Healthy
I
life.
love that. I love that when people share their stories in OPTAVIA, it's like we don't even hardly remember to say how much weight we lost, because it's about so much more than that. So I appreciate you, Tressa. Such good tips. I know that everybody in the chat is just typing their takeaways at light speed. Okay, so we want to walk you through an exercise that we hope will help you with this principle of we lead from the future, we act in the now. And this is the first habits of transformational leadership that we really believe and that we strive to follow in our life, is we lead from the future, we act in the now. And the first question is, what do you want to create?
Going back to vision. The reason that vision is so important is because if you have a really solid vision, it changes what you do today. So establish that. Some people like, well, I don't know what I want to create. Well, here's an easy way to start. Oftentimes we say, don't focus on what you don't want, focus on what you do want. But sometimes the easiest way to get to what you do want is asking yourself, what don't I want in my life? Oh, I don't want to feel lethargic and tired all the time. I don't want to continue being overweight so that I can't do anything. Okay, ask yourself the exact opposite is what you want. Okay, so, but also here's another thing. I did this recently with one of my clients. She didn't know what she wanted to create in her life. And I said, okay, what's on your Pinterest board? She had like 40 different Pinterest boards and stuff. And she started looking at it and she's like, oh, well, these are the things that I really want to create in my life. And a lot of them had to do with living a really active life where she enjoyed we live in Utah. It's not really fantastic right now because it's all wet and snowy and stuff, but she loves the summers and she wanted to be out in the summers and be able to do lots of things with her friends and her family.
So go 1 year in the future, because this was perfect for Tressa because she's been with OPTAVIA now a little over a year. and go there for yourself. Where do you want to be next March? It's March right now if you're listening to a playback. And what has to have happened for you to be happy and satisfied with your progress? And be very careful to not make this picture of perfection, because don't look now, but you live on planet Earth where things are not perfect. But what needs to have happened that you be satisfied and happy with your progress? Can you really feel that future self? Is your picture of your future clear and compelling? Start thinking about the different senses. How do things look? How do you feel? You know, what do you hear? What do you hear people saying to you? What do you hear inside your own head?
And remember, I'm going to note this one more time, not perfection. Perfection comes out of self-contempt. It's like, oh, I hate this about myself, so I've got to be perfect. Progress is about self-compassion and just engaging in the process. Because even though I lost 50 pounds 10 years ago, I'm still on the same health journey every single day. I continue to live the habits of health. I continue to eat every 2 to 3 hours and drink lots of water and connect with my coach in the community.
Absolutely. So now, as you are in this future self, you have that clear and compelling picture. Ask your future self some questions. How did I get here? What have I stopped doing since last year? What have I started doing? What am I continuing to do that I'm already doing well? And talk to your future self. Have you ever talked to somebody in real life that's been really successful with something and you're like, how did you do it? It's so funny because a lot of times, we like to we like to put up before and after pictures in social media sometimes, every so often. Some of our coaches do that. And then people will go, what did you do? That is amazing. Oh my goodness, share your secret. So do that to your future self.
Because you know exactly what you did to create it. So go there in the future, often, like all the time, because your future self knows what you did to get there.
And pick that brain. Be like, tell me all of the awesomeness, because, oh my goodness, I'm so happy with where I am now. And really take advice from your future self, the future self that you want to create. And just to close up, I love this quote from Brooke Castillo: discomfort is the currency to your dreams. And you know that if it kind of makes you a little bit like, I don't know if I can really do this, you know that that's probably a good goal, because to accomplish those dreams in your life, there's got to be that tension. There's got to be that discomfort. It's going to take some work. Hashtag DTW, do the work.
My screensaver on my computer is a quote that says, if the path isn't uphill, you're on the wrong path. And so always look for those uphill. I love to mountain bike. And you know what? I've never hurt myself going uphill. I always hurt myself coming down. So stay on the uphill, keep climbing.
Hashtag wear your helmet.
Yeah. Oh, I wear my helmet.
So thank you so much for joining us tonight on the Habits of Health, and really connect with your coach. Plug into those 4 components of the program. You have more help. Are you using it? Is that help going to waste? Make sure that you're reaching out. And yes, if your coach didn't call you this week, the phone works both ways. Call your coach, reach out, take advantage of this resource that you have. So thank you so much.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.